What you feel sad about losing isn't the expensive stuff. It's the stuff you can't replace.
9 News at 5. Coming up, a family starting from scratch after losing their home in a Boulder wildfire last month.
Fewer migrants are coming into Denver, but the city says donations are still very much needed.
Tomorrow, downtown Denver certainly will be packed, with the city honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I want to bring you an update on the traffic situation along I-70 as the weather has changed, become more snowy and difficult. The Colorado State Patrol is telling us that the I-70 westbound near Georgetown is being blocked. They can't get up the Georgetown Hill. There's several accidents that are stuck right there, so they're asking you to avoid that area so plows and responders can get in there and try to fix what is going to be a mess on this day before the day home for many.
And yeah, it's a ski weekend for so many people. So we want to get a check on the weather in general, but also look at, this is the Eisenhower tunnels, and this is just a high volume weekend. So many people have the day off tomorrow, and many people decided to head up on Friday or Saturday to do some skiing, and now the weather rolls in.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be a difficult day. So let's get over to Lauren Robinson and talk about what is happening now and what's on tap for the rest of the week.
Yeah, well, we are still seeing those snow showers off to the west in the high country and western slope. They've been there through much of the day. We've been dry, though, here across the Front Range and Eastern Plains. Let's go ahead and take a look at some afternoon highs that we saw. The eastern half of the state was in the 40s and 50s, almost 60 degrees down in Lamar. But then to the west, where we've been seeing that snow, that's where we had, of course, those cooler highs, 20s, 30s, maybe some middle 40s out west in Grand Junction. But now, as we take a look at our HD Doppler radar, you can see this large low pressure system just spinning right over Colorado, and some arms kind of snow swinging from that. So we do still have lots of scattered snow showers off to the west in the high country and western slopes, starting to push their way into portions of the Front Range and Eastern Plains. So we do have snow chances as we go through the rest of the evening in Denver, though those snow chances and even rain in some areas where it's still a bit warmer do become spottier as this system pushes its way eastward. So we're not going to see a lot of snow across the Front Range or Eastern Plains tonight. That's why we don't have any winter weather alerts across the eastern half of the state tonight. Right now, though, we do have winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings across the high country and western slope. Those winter storm warnings off to the south, they expire later tonight, and some not until early tomorrow. So we will continue to watch for that. Now, when we are expecting more snow in Denver, it's not going to be tonight where these very spotty snow showers push through. It's actually going to be Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday afternoon. So the second half of our Tuesday into the early portions of our Wednesday, we're expecting quite a bit of snowfall across the northeastern corner of the state. This does include Denver and a lot of the I-25 corridor from Fort Collins all the way down to Castle Rock. So we're going to continue to watch for mild weather here in Denver for MLK Day tomorrow, with more snow to the west, of course. That snow pushes its way into the Front Range Tuesday, and then we have more in and out snow chances as we go through the rest of the week. I'll have those details just ahead of my full 7-day forecast.
Last month, hundreds evacuated as the Sunshine Wildland fire burned just north of Boulder. And the Boulder Office of Emergency Management said the fire started as a structure fire at a home on Sunshine Canyon Drive, but then it spread quickly.
And that house was a total loss. 9 News reporter Jaleesa Rosari spoke to a family that was planning to call that property home.
Picture new beginnings. For Lisa Larn and her family, a fresh start meant a new cabin on an old friend's property.
We were like going to live the dream of living next to each other. And she sent a text with a really blurry photo saying my house is burning.
Lauren's partner spent months making that cabin a home. 2 days before they officially moved in, it all went up in smoke.
You know, it's just devastating. It's just surreal too.
Except for some clothes, they lost everything. Lauren nor anyone else was hurt, but she still aches over what she couldn't do in the hours before the fire.
When the fire broke out, I was down the hill at a friend's house, trying desperately to get renter's insurance for the property that we were going to move into in 2 days. You know, for the last month before, I was getting refused because they wouldn't cover us. There wasn't adequate fire fighting capacity in the area.
No renter's insurance means no reimbursement for all that they physically lost. But for Lauren's son, the fire took something else.
He doesn't want to live in the mountains anymore, for good reason. I see that. we're just hoping that lightning doesn't strike twice.
Rubble may have buried their new beginning, but Lauren knows with time they can always find a fresh start.
I mean, we're trying to look at the positive, and yeah, we're just very grateful. Yeah.
Jaleesa Irizarry, 9 News.
Lauren says they are thankful for all the help the community has given them. They are hopeful to find permanent housing in the coming months.
The city of Denver says they're in high need of toothbrushes, toothpaste, soap, small shampoos and conditioners for migrants. They say they're still accepting donations at Temple Emmanuel on Monday and the Little Saigon neighborhood site on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The city is also planning to close one of the emergency shelters since fewer migrants have been coming each day. There were 42 migrants that did arrive overnight, and right now there are 871 staying in city and partner shelters. Yesterday that number was over 1,000.
Starting today, Denver Central Library will close for about 2 weeks while they rearrange the first floor ahead of more construction. The library is planning a massive renovation through the year, adding new elevators, stairs, bathrooms, and events center. And while the building is closed, the pickup window and curbside will be available for holds.
Tomorrow, of course, is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and the city of Denver plans to mark the day with its annual Marade, the March Plus Parade. The city's been doing that for the past 38 years. Other than celebrations in MLK's birthplace in Atlanta, Denver's Marade is the largest MLK celebration in the country, with about 60,000 people attending each year. It'll get underway at 9:30 tomorrow morning at the MLK statue in City Park, with the route going down Colfax to Civic Center Park. In honor of MLK Jr., tomorrow the National Park Service will not be charging for entry at national parks. It's one of 5 days this year that NPS will waive the entry fee. And in Boston this week, a statue that's been in the works for 5 years was revealed to the public. This is the statue called Embrace. It honors MLK and his wife, Coretta Scott King, at the spot where they had their first date. It's inspired by a photograph of Dr. King hugging his wife after winning the Nobel Peace Prize.
Today, Damar Hamlin got to cheer on his team from home. So many fans showed up at the game against Miami with signs supporting Damar Hamlin. He was released from the hospital Wednesday, just over 1 week since he collapsed on the field in the game against the Bengals.
Yesterday, he had a chance to go see his team for the first time since he suffered cardiac arrest. This photo comes from Bills linebacker Matt Milano's Instagram story as he was able to stop by the facility and say hi to his Buffalo Bills teammates. And the Bills had some fans and maybe thinking about cardiac arrest. It was one of those exciting games we've seen in the playoffs.
It was close.
Yeah.
Really close.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Miami gave them all they wanted, but Buffalo does advance. Ariel's going to join us a little bit later with everything you need to do in sports. So they're still alive.
They're still alive.